life has got to be fulfilling. You got to do what you want to do, but you also have to have money to pay the rent and all those other things.
So this video is going to be pretty different. It's essentially going to be kind of an interview style of me, my dad, and what he thinks of what I'm doing in my career. I've branded myself as the unemployed millennial on the internet, and my dad is a 61-year-old boomer. He's a surgeon. He funded his medical school by joining the army. He retired as a colonel. In terms of a traditional career path, he's been able to see kind of every next step of the way. I graduated in 2018 and did not pursue a traditional career after college. And after a year or so of feeling bad about myself because I was an unemployed millennial, I started making videos talking about trying to navigate career options in a modern world. This interview actually came about because a producer from a well-known TV network emailed me to join their docuseries on millennials and their parents navigating the current job market. They kept pushing it back and postponing it, so instead of kind of just sitting on the idea, I just thought that I would use this footage. While the series kept getting pushed back because of the pandemic, my career plans have definitely drastically changed even more in it, and so have my dad's. So the footage with my dad is during his interview with the producers. So for the formatting of this video, I'll list the topic we're talking about, show my dad's perspective, and then my perspective, so that you get the boomer dad and then the millennial daughter in response. I was pretty excited to do this docuseries, but I think that even this video will give a lot of context to just kind of like where I come from.
I'm 61 years of age. I'm a urologist, a urologic surgeon. I've been doing this for the past 30 years. I graduated from medical school in 1985. I completed a residency in urology in 1991 and a fellowship in pediatric reconstructive surgery in 1993. That was for 1 year. So I was in the Army originally until 2006, and I retired as a colonel in the Army. I've been in private practice now for 15 years, having retired.
I'm 24 years old. I was really interested in marketing from having a YouTube channel really early on. In 2017, I did dabble in a more traditional career in marketing when I interned full-time at Johnson & Johnson's Neutrogena. While I was here, I kind of realized that if I could help it, I really did not want a career in traditional marketing. I really, really liked the company. I really liked the people that I worked with. I felt like I wasn't really challenging myself, and I felt like a lot of the things that they were doing in the company, they were maybe doing just because they'd always done it. I've always tried to pursue things that I'm just genuinely interested in, even if it's new and different and no one else is doing it.
I think that I've had the classic career progression for a doctor and for a military doctor. I mean, growing up in the especially the 70s, you went to college, you wanted to get a career, and the career was something that you had intended to stay for a long period of time, which I did. The Army, I did a total of 21 years, 24 years if you count the medical school. I had maxed out my time. I had gone to war. I was going to stay in, but I was going to go to a different theater of war, and even though as a surgeon I was very safe in Iraq, the stress and strains were put on my family back home. It wasn't me. I was going to have to go to Afghanistan, but having done a tour in Iraq and seeing what that did to the family, I had to get out for the family's sake. I mean, heck, they followed me around for all those years, and I think it was mutually beneficial. I mean, the kids grew up in diverse places, and they've seen the world. They've they've experienced things, and now I'm in private practice. I've been doing that for 15 years, and I anticipate continuing on in there. So I went to Emory in Atlanta, and I went to medical school, Medical University of South Carolina. I did not want to deal with student debt, although back when I trained, like I said, I got out in 1985. Medical school tuition for a state school was under $3,000 for the year. The Army paid for medical school. That incurred an obligation. My original intent was to do my obligation and get out. But the further I went along, the further I saw that I liked the training opportunities, the travel opportunities. What that allowed me to do was I had some extra spending money. I mean, I remember back then I had a stipend of $1,500 a month, which was a lot of money back then because my rent was $500 in a nice condo. My son subsequently did the same thing. They gave him a whole lot more money, and he's in the Army right now, doing the same thing, however, as an orthopedic surgeon. One of the other reasons why I had to go into private practice is because, I told them if they got into school, I'd pay for school, okay, which I did. And unlike Lori Laughlin, I went the honest way. I guess she just got 2 months. So she went to USC, and she did it herself, made her grades, and I paid the tuition because that's what my parents did for me. Okay, so that was sort of the way I was raised in the expectation, and so that's what I did.
My dad paid for all of our tuition. I applied for so many different scholarships. I got a few, and I even got a small scholarship from USC. And I also graduated a semester early. I took 8 units online so that I could graduate early. I took it through UAA, $1,000 or $2,000 versus the $1,000 per unit that it would have been at USC, which is like $8,000. I think that people should be a lot more transparent about this kind of stuff. I think it's better when people come from privilege and have, parents who pay for their tuition to tell other people who are not in the same position so that those people don't have to compare their lives to these people who were fortunate enough to not have to go in debt for their college.
And I think that that's a good investment because if nothing else, she's got a degree from a well-regarded school. There are a whole lot of people who do quite well without degrees, but I think the socialization of going to college and living away from home is very important. And going to LA was a great thing. And I didn't like LA until she went there, and then I'd visit and got to know LA. I mean, LA is just the greatest place on earth to go visit. Or used to be. Okay, so I hope it fixes itself.
That was always the kind of promise to us that our parents gave us. They worked really hard to pay for our tuition. If college and higher education is still trending towards going to a traditional 4-year school, which I don't think it will be by the time I have kids and that they're college aged. I think it's going to be more online-based learning kind of thing. If I choose to have kids because I want them and I want to give them the best life possible, that's going to be a goal for me, is I'm going to try really hard to save up for their tuition or whatever so that they can have the best setup and be in the best position for success in their own lives.
So what do you think of Anne-Marie's career?
Well, again, I have 3 kids, and 2 of them have gone the traditional route. My son in medicine, my other daughter and she works for a corporation. I think that she's doing what she wants to do. I think that that's great. She's an artist. That's great. I'm proud of her. The only thing I always get concerned about is, it's this. You gotta make a living, and she's doing it in a different fashion. She's comfortable with that, which I'm not, because if you work for a corporation, you have a couple things. You have a paycheck, you have health insurance, and you have potential for progression. The other thing is like we always say, it's easier to get a job if you already have a job.
In response to my dad's thoughts, I agree. And I actually don't have insurance right now, so that has been a huge hassle. I have a $450 bill for just a regular gyno appointment that I'm going to have to try to figure out how to pay. So that is a huge problem, and I think that, again, like in a year, if I have made absolutely no progress and I have no hint of success on the horizons, even just being able to like pay my own bills and like have my own income, then I'm going to pivot and get a more traditional career job.
She has a non-standard job. Okay, so great. That's fine. I mean, life has got to be fulfilling. You got to do what you want to do, but you also have to have money to pay the rent and all those other things. She's living at home right now, and she gets to do that. But ultimately, she's going to have to, make a way for herself. And I prefer that she does that by herself and not necessarily like we used to do in the old days, is get married. that my generation, women without careers would get married, and while I would hope she has married and have kids, I'd hope it's on her terms, not the other way around.
If I could build a fully sustainable business means of income in the next 5 years, even if it's just a lifestyle business where I can maintain my living and have like a income through whatever I'm doing. This has always been my mindset, but I think quarantine and just like the current state of the world has really like pushed me into like actually finally believing this. Life is short and you should just do whatever you want to do. And I'm not meaning that in the way that it's like just blow every day off. But if you have a vision and you know deep down in your heart that it's like it could work, then why would you waste your time sitting at an office job working for someone else and putting all of this work in when you have just bigger dreams? Like if you know that you have a direction that you want to go in, why not just do it?
So basically, I don't understand her career landscape. I mean, I see people who are YouTubers, and I see people who are social media people who are able to make a nice living, okay? I think I understand it a little bit because what she does and what I've seen, but ultimately, it's influencers and social media, which I do Twitter, I do Instagram, and I think I'm into it. But then something new comes around every day, and I find myself that I'm really behind the curve on understanding what's really going on.
No, you're not.
So there you go.
You're on Twitter, but you don't do it.
I mean, yeah, right. So.
Anne-Marie, do you try to explain to your dad?
He's usually pretty up to pop culture and like the social landscape more, like sometimes more than I am. I think he's selling himself short. But that's why I was trying to start the Nut Docs with him.
Yeah.
But now, with COVID, my practice has changed. The landscape has changed. So I'm considering making a move away from here, which is going to be traumatic because we've been here for 15 years. But okay, we're used to that having been in the Army. So what I'm looking to do is, now that I've worked for myself, and the landscape being what it is, I would prefer to be an employee now, because then I don't have to deal with the private practice issues. I mean, because I have to hire, I have to fire, I have to make the payroll, and I have to, the shortfall comes out of my pocket. Obviously, it's fulfilling to me, because otherwise, what's the incentive? I like what I do. I think I'm pretty good at what I do. You guys hit me at the exit ramp of my decision making. So I know I look pretty calm and cool, collected, but I'm pretty stressed.
Yeah.
So it's stressful. Yeah, it's stressful. But I've done it before.
Would you move with your family?
I don't think so. Yeah, that's like the thing that I'm trying to do right now, is I'm trying to make like Alaska content. I think I told you guys.
There's another Naval quote that I really like that I'm going to share because I just love Naval. I bookmark so many tweets that I never revisit. This quote says, "Your goal in life is to find out the people who need you the most, to find out the business that needs you the most, to find out the project and the art that needs you the most. There is something out there just for you."
I think there's a big white space for it. I just bought the domain name Alaska Friends. So
Nice.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, good. All right, thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right, I got to run to the operating room. Yeah, they hit me at a nice inflection point in my life.
Yeah, I got some good reflecting there.
Like me, the unemployed millennial, my dad is now an unemployed boomer. He gave me permission to say that for the remaining period of time that I am living with him and that he's home all the time. Might as well try to get content with him from the feedback that I've gotten. I think people are genuinely interested in this kind of content. Career and traditional careers and unemployment and even just living with my parents. I want to do more videos with both of my parents, actually. Please feel free to leave comments on what you want to see from the both of us, from the three of us, me, my mom, and my dad. I am updating my Unemployed Millennial website. New things are coming. in 2021 for all things. Keep checking back. Follow me on Instagram at Anne-Marie Chase. If you want to support Alaska Friends, subscribe to Alaska Friends and follow me on Instagram there. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.